Superheroes, Bullseye, Stags, Spike, and T-Bone.
Extinction stinks.
Extreme Dinosaur. Part man, part dinosaur.
Cool.
Fighting to stop the evil Raptor Man.
I'll have you for lunch. Eat this.
Teeth, claws, muscles, and jaws. Extreme Dinosaurs. Teeth, claws, muscles, and jaws. Figure sold separately. Hey, dudes! Prepare for Light Wars!
Down in the basement with the VHS. On a scale of 1 to 6, which one is the best? Ninjas, monsters, rock and roll. I got analog blood and a beta soul. Neon Lord with the glug jug handy. Tonight's the night for raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Mac and me, Munchie and Mandy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis for Randy tonight.
On your screen. Must be 18 or older to call.
And Neon Maniacs, we are back, ripped from the pages of the Pasta Nomicon and filmed in glorious marinara vision. It's Raviolis for Randy, Season 2, Episode 2. We got John Hambone McGuire, internet famous for sure, with us in the VHS store. Going to talk some tapes. Joey, how was your week?
Look at this face. It's stuck. We got Hambone with us. Can't stop smiling. It hurts.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Pythons! Woo!
It's
hot in the basement tonight, baby.
In the Mozzarella Mausoleum.
In the Mozzarella Mausoleum. The Mozzarella's got a nice sweat on it tonight.
That's one's the best. Well, you know when you see that nice little glow across the top, it's ready.
Jeff's kiss. John, wonderful to see you. It's an honor and a privilege.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
The big times now, Neon Lord. The big times,
Yeah,
baby.
that's what I'm saying. Season 2, we got the heavy hitters now. We're not playing no games.
Nope.
I'm definitely heavier than I was at the start of the pandemic, too. So you got me in full swing.
Yeah, all of us, except for Joey. He wears a schmedium, an express schmedium. Skinniest man I've ever seen, because he doesn't eat meat, John. That's his problem.
Well, that'll do it. But look, pizza's got tomatoes, so he's at least getting his vegetables in.
It is. I was telling the Neon Lord I was ill prepared for this evening. I got stressed and hungry and excited for the show. I ate a bag of figs. That wasn't a good idea. So people at home, never eat a bag of figs.
It's like was it Temple of Doom? Or no, is it when the monkey eats the bad dates?
Oh,
that would have been you. That almost was you, Joey.
Too close to home.
Is it
so,
Temple or is it's Temple, right?
I'm going to go with
it's Temple.
Yeah. Temple's got all the crazy food.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So go ahead, Joey. Go ahead. Let me.
Raviolis for Randy, Season 2, Episode 2. John Hambone. We're going to get down to business. We got a lot to talk about, Neon Lord.
That is true. Down and dirty. So
all the way from Jersey, right? You're broadcasting live from Jersey.
Yeah, hidden somewhere in the swamps in New Jersey, but I'll tell you exactly where I'm in sunny Kearney, right outside of New York City.
All right. So not too far from me. We'll send each other some paper airplanes of love notes.
I love it.
You are a prolific person.
Thank you.
You are a terrific and a prolific person. You got a lot of plates spinning and you're keeping them all balanced well.
Thanks, man. Trying to retire.
3, 2, 1, action. I love it. I read through it again today. It just makes sense to me. It just makes sense.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's what we wanted. We wanted to make an RPG that made sense to people, that was easy and fun to play, and that moves fast because, as you know, Joey, time is money.
Time is money. And a D10, very versatile. You can run any kind of adventure from horror to space to the suburbs. So I love what you're doing there, man.
Thanks, man. We got a Western coming out in February-ish.
Neon Lord, you down with the Westerns other than Django?
Yeah. Like, what did we talk about? El Topo.
Well, yeah. See, I know you're always going down those.
Jodorowsky. Other than that, not really. Not really a huge into Westerns. I mean, I like Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah, I think that's really it.
One of my favorite books of all time, Lonesome Dove, and the books around it. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I gotta say, Neon Lord though. When I see Neon Lord, I think to myself, Brave Star. Y'all remember Brave Star?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
This
Brave
guy
Star.
knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, but
here,
that's like I don't know. Yeah, I guess that would.
It's like sci-fi western, but still, it was like the most cowboy shit I'd ever seen as a kid. Like growing up when I did.
Absolutely.
Well, the Brudicorn, right?
The Brudicorn is right from Brave Star. Yeah, it's a Brave Star riff for sure.
Hambone's making the connections left and right. Connect the dots. Well done.
Got him.
Yeah, buddy.
He's in the loop. Obviously, right?
This guy's intelligent. He graduated from Pensy Prep.
I did graduate. Oh my god! Yes, I did graduate from Pensy Prep. I was in an emo band in the early 2000s. And I had a very bad haircut. I've had the same haircut generally since I was 12 years old. And as you know, good hair guys got to stick together. But for whatever reason, in the early 2000s, I was in an emo band, and this is back when we used to dye our hair like jet black, but it was like Fairy Starry Night. So black with a hint of blue.
That's it. I know it. That's the one I used to use. Fairy Starry. Oh my God. I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah.
John. That's
listen,
Fairy.
I am salt and pepper now. You can't really tell because I got all the dippity do in my hair. However, if there was still Starry Night by Fairy, I would still be dyeing it. But I digress. We're in the emo band. Everyone's wearing eyeliner. I'm wearing girls' jeans because I didn't make skinny jeans for men at that time because it was like 2000.
Buddy, I know.
My hair's getting longer. I don't know what to do with it. I get a flat iron. I still have flat iron scars on my head from when I was in an emo band 22, 23 years ago at this point. So, I lived it.
Loud and proud, buddy. I
Earned
hear
it the
you.
hard way.
A lot of us went through that. We survived and we're better people for it. But man, the Ferrier, I ruined my parents' bathroom with that stuff. That got all over the place. I had the black on the top of the ears.
Yeah.
That stuff was serious business.
It's like Danhausen before Danhausen,
I'm getting the Paulie walnuts now. You can't see the gel, but yeah.
What does that mean?
Like Paulie walnuts from The Sopranos, it was just the gray on the side.
So like Reed Richards to some of us.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. I don't know. I've never seen Sopranos. Oh, is that Brazil?
There's your Reed Richards for you right there. The amazing plastic man.
But for people from New Jersey, you talk about Paulie walnuts, you say, I'd be like, hey Joey, you want me to send a kid down there for some Baja Fresh?
Oh boy, we're gonna have some fun tonight.
I'm not a Sopranos fan. I've never seen it.
First 3 seasons, and then it's diminishing returns. But man, living in a town that like had a Baja Fresh, when he's like, Tony, you want to send a kid for some Baja Fresh?
Baja Fresh. What a Baja Fresh.
It never stops being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pine Barrens.
Barrens.
Neon Lord. What's on the menu for this evening?
So, as you know, and as the audience knows, Joey, I tell our guest, give me 6 very broad genres of movies, and we will discuss them. So, with John in his 3, 2, 1 action, and our movie connection, I went with 80s, 90s action movies.
Can't go wrong. That's a big umbrella to stand under.
That's
so you got a lot of pieces of fruit to pick from in that tree.
Yeah,
you certainly do. So,
John, why don't you hit us with your number 6 off the bat? Let's get the pie in the oven real quick.
Let's get the meatball rolling.
So my number 6 is Aliens. James Cameron, Aliens. The second in the franchise. That's why they added the S.
Yeah.
And as far as a movie that starts out as one thing, ends up as something else, and goes completely foobar in the middle, I don't think you get better than Aliens. As far as like a military movie with a squad of, which is essentially like a wet work squad going in on a rescue mission, like I don't think you get better than Aliens. Also, the fucking xenomorphs scare the hell out of me. Like, I've talked about this on other shows, but if you like look at like movie monsters, granted, I don't do cardio, but I do feel like I have at least like a brief opportunity that if someone's coming after me with a knife, I could give it the old college dropout try, run, maybe try to get over a very low fence, see how far I can get, maybe to a main road. Supernatural killer as well. I could probably get a little bit of distance. I could try, maybe at least make it to the door. But a xenomorph, forget about it. I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm gonna lay on the floor in my own mess and just let nature take its course. Like there's no real true escape from a xenomorph.
Oh,
So
you're
here's
just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
You find another air shaft to get stuck in, and that's it.
Call it a day.
Alien 1, a haunted house movie in space.
Perfect.
Alien
Yeah.
2 is a war movie in space.
Yes.
But here's a question for you, John. Would you rather be eviscerated by a xenomorph or be the guy who gets the chest burster?
I'm seeing right now, as this is happening, the screens are frozen.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, oh, wait. He's deep in thought. No.
Yeah, on my end, you guys were both deep in thought. So, eviscerated. What was the question? What would I rather? What?
Be the victim of like let's say alien queen evisceration, like with the tail, right? Or
Yeah.
would you be the guy who unfortunately gets the face hugger chest burster?
Oh man. I'm gonna go with the queen. I'm gonna
Really?
go with I gotta go with the queen because it's the face hugger thing. Momentarily, I think feels like getting buried alive in some ways, which it's gonna be a lot more like my body is still trying to like reject what's happening to me, and I'm trying to like fight it off while I can't breathe. Versus like instant kill, versus like the tail slicing me in half,
Yeah.
or the mouth coming out of the mouth and like killing my brain. So it's gonna be over faster. So I'm gonna go with the queen.
Interesting.
And I think it's just like a status thing too. Do you want to get killed by the larva, or do you want to be killed by the final version?
Yeah, but like that's meta thinking, Joey, though, because you wouldn't think about that when you're in the situation. But I'm just saying so the pros to the face hugger is you're done and out of there before the fear and panic of being stalked by xenomorphs sets in, and you got to spend the rest of the 90 minutes trying to like evade and survive and then biff it in the end, or you just take a little discomfort in the beginning and just get it over with.
Imagine if that was just the whole movie. There was no queen. The whole alien thing is just chest bursters. So everybody's just having dinner all the time and they're just popping out left and right. That would be an interesting movie as well.
Yeah,
That's like-
I'll get with that.
It's like the end of Spaceballs.
Yeah. Dancing on the table. What a classic right there.
Oh, I know. It doesn't get any better than Spaceballs.
Certainly
Aliens,
doesn't.
Yeah. I'd say, and then that's like the pinnacle of, Terminator 2, like sequels that don't suck that we always talk about.
Yeah.
That's the best Aliens. It never gets any better.
No,
and
it's completely downhill from there.
Yeah,
and the same thing with Terminator 2. It's kind of the same movie, but it's not the same movie.
Right, exactly. It's when they figured out how to actually make a sequel.
Yeah, it's not better, just different. If
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
It's different in a better way with bigger ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're so good they can stand alone as a narrative. It's
Oh,
not dependent on what came before.
Absolutely not.
I would pull my Sarnapone action figure off the wall. I'm a huge Aliens guy, so you hit it perfect.
Enter aliens. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a great line.
Yeah, they're cheap. They are cheap on card, Joey. I keep talking about. I can't believe how cheap Kenner Aliens are.
Those are the 3 for $5 guys at KB back in the old days.
Yep, I got 3 for $5 on them with the KB.
You got the sticker on it still?
You're gonna make me get up, aren't you?
No.
All right, I'll get up, Joey. I'll get up for you.
I slept in that room. I slept among all the treasures.
Yeah.
Wow, that's in good shape, man.
Yeah,
look at that.
This actually doesn't have the KB sticker. Okay.
That's like case fresh.
Yeah,
Who do you know?
It's eBay.
That's good.
So this one's got the KB, the Predator, Stalker Predator's got the.
Yeah, that's the glow in the dark one.
That's good.
Got the KB.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know what? I had an epiphany on this one. So that when it's like crossed out.
Yeah.
Like written. That's not actually written. That is printed on there.
I just came to that realization not too long ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You learn
Holy
something.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
I came to that conclusion when I saw it, and I was like, holy shit. That is not written. I could have swore they were written my whole life.
Those were great days going to the KB with $5 and walking out of there with 3 figures.
To be a king again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
They
Seriously.
can. I mean, these I got the 3. So I'm only missing. I think Hicks is the only one. Yeah, I don't have the Corporal Hicks. I got Bishop, Apone, and Drake for $30 for 3 of them.
Holy crap!
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. They're like all of these are beyond cheap.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll put it back later. But yeah, I just go, I'll hang them on all the wall. Okay, Aliens over. Like we could go on and on
We
about
can go for Aliens forever. It's just that good. Not probably one of the best sequels of all time.
Hands down.
I mean, Terminator 2 is the best sequel of all time.
I said one of.
Dawn of the Dead is the best sequel of all time.
Oh man, here it comes. Every single episode. That's the box. There's a couple more we got to check off.
Yeah, let's see if we'll get to them. All right. With that being, we talk about the same movies every episode, so I don't know why people even watch anymore. What up? What up? Chat, Jono in the chat, surviving the hurricane. Everything okay?
Yeah. Good luck, everybody in the hurricane area.
Yeah, I got a few people I'm looking out for out there. Got some family, so yeah, they're all fighting. He's good. Jono's good. They're fighting about T2 versus Aliens in the chat.
It's a legitimate fight, and I feel like it's a foot race in some ways. You know, like
it comes down to it's got to come down to a lot. It's got to come down to the video games that spawned off of the movie. It has to, because I mean, there's some Terminator stinkers, there's some winners, there's some Alien stinkers, and there's some winners.
So the Aliens, to me, though, had 2 great video games spread almost a decade apart. You had the Alien side scroller, arcade side scroller, where you were sitting there with the big guns and you're like literally walking and killing aliens, and you get in the rover and you'd be shooting the aliens that. Yeah. Fantastic. And then when they started getting to the big gun games, you would stand there and just keep pumping dollars in there. It was essentially the same game, except it's a first-person shooter. You had a full-size pulse rifle, and you were really pushing your luck with all the curse and trying not to get banned from Dave and Buster's.
Those were impossible, man. Those were impossible.
Yeah,
those were just you put the money in. It's more of a time thing. Nobody's going to go through the whole game. Remember the Aerosmith one?
Yeah, Revolution X.
Revolution X. It was just the alien game with Aerosmith, the worst. Aerosmith's the worst.
Shooting CDs and stuff.
Yeah, you shoot CDs. And then the Terminator 2 arcade game's the same thing.
Awesome.
It's just like
that was great. That was when we're talking about those kind of shooters. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Really you got and then you got to go up the. See, I think Aliens got the edge on the toys though, because I mean, like the Geiger alien model in toy
hands down
is like iconic, amazing. I would buy up every alien toy I could possibly get.
And between that and Predator, they actually made a lot of monsters. With the Terminator one, it's just variations on a theme. Essentially, at the end of the day, you got like 19 versions of Arnold with like a leg missing or like skin missing. But like the aliens, like they had the glow in the dark ones, they had the acid ones, they had the lava ones, the hunchback one, they had like all this stuff.
Yeah, they had the gorilla, they had the bull, they had the scorpion, they had the snake. The snake one's awesome looking.
Awesome.
Like
that Hive play set was pretty cool. But when it comes to play sets, T2 had the best play set with the living flesh.
Yeah, the bioflesh generator.
That was awesome.
Which was featured in an adventure that Brian ran for us in Neon Lord.
Well, that's it. That's canon in the book. That's how you regenerate, is in a bio. Yep. I had one as a kid, and that stuff was disgusting. I think we talked about it, like the rubbery, cold, dead flesh.
The coldness of it. Yeah, my cousin. I have older cousins, and they handed me down the original Kenner alien, the big guy that got.
That's great.
That's great. I had that as a kid. That was lost to time. I don't know.
Do you ever see the commercials for that?
Oh my God, they're wonderful. What a time it was.
Yeah.
Between that, I had that, and at the same time, like the same afternoon, they gave me their bionic Bigfoot. So that was from $6 Million Man. That was perfect going. And now I'm forever in search of replacing those two. I'm gonna need a second job for those.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to strike it big in the lotto.
Yeah.
Is that like your go-to? So say you win 10 million tomorrow, you going out and buying Kenner alien and the
I'd go as Hambone and I were speaking about right before we went on, it would be the Universal Monster Soakies, the complete set of Remco 8-inch Universal Monsters,
Oh yeah.
and then it would go Bionic Bigfoot, Kenner Alien, and then I would spend all the rest of the money on Breath Blasters by Axlon.
I would not. You know they got recalled because they're cancerous, right?
Yeah, but I need Victor Vomit. My father, I tell the story.
Yeah,
I
I'm
opened
sorry,
it up in the car. He said, "Get the hell out! Get it out of the car!" That flew out of the side of the Lincoln Town Car into the snow right in front of the Burlington Coat Factory, never to be found again. Everybody in the car was throwing up. It was like Stand By Me.
What man? Now they're talking about play sets. They're saying GI Joe had the best play sets.
Oh, Terradome! Come on,
Yeah,
Come on.
Terradome, Shuttle, SS Flag.
I mean, the Remco Universal Monsters had a great playset too.
They did. Well, they got the Monsterizer for the 8 inches and the small ones.
Yep.
But the haunted house, the house they live in, that's one of the only original toys from my youth that I still own.
Yeah.
Like, I kept that and I kept the figures. So I got that. That's the gem in my collection right there. And I got
Awesome.
I got the 8-inch Frankenstein that I got at a Famous Monsters of Filmland convention.
Love it.
Brian knows all about that.
That's the Ray Bradbury story.
That's the Ray Bradbury story. Angus Scrimm, Joe Dante, John Landis.
Love it.
Oh, they were all there.
That's
Ray
good.
Harryhausen. I saw original models from King Kong. Boy, I kissed Forey Ackerman's Dracula ring.
I mean, yeah, obviously. Like for a monster kid, like kissing Forey Ackerman's Dracula ring is like the equivalent of like shaking Sinatra's hand in the 60s in Las Vegas.
I didn't even have a choice. The guy put it right into my face. It was kind of weird, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I once how do you not? I mean, I once at a convention got one of the Rock and Roll Express wrestlers WWE Hall of Fame ring stuck on my finger. It was like, oh, you got to put it on for the picture. And they put it on my finger. My finger was too fat. And I was like, no, I didn't want to, but I was like, all right, now I'm like up here doing like the 4 Horsemen sign with the Rock and Roll Express. I got a Hall of Fame ring on my finger. He's like, all right. And I'm trying to give it back. And he goes, son, we're going to cut it off if we got to. He's like,
so Rock and Roll Express, was that Marty Jannetty?
No, that was Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton.
Okay, Ricky Morton. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're a wrestling guy?
I'm a wrestling guy. Yeah, and I got Ricky's ring stuck in my finger. He's like, "Hoot, go get the butter."
Man, this guy is great.
Excellent. Yes. Let's get into number 5 real quick before we go down another 20 minutes.
Okay, all right. I'll pull it in. I'll tighten my seatbelt.
You're fine.
So coming in like at the wire, 1980s Flash Gordon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You know what? It's like space fantasy, space opera, but like
yes,
at its core, it's an action movie. It's a war movie.
Oh, certainly.
It's a dungeon crawl. It's like the Great Escape on like Ming's planet, and you have Hawkmen in it. Like
yes, the Hawkmen, man. Those they represent there.
Yeah, killer theme music. That like
whenever the impossible. That's one of the greatest movie soundtracks of all time.
The final shot. Yeah. I mean, like you feel like you've been on a journey from start to finish when you're watching Flash Gordon. It's just it's because it's another movie that starts out as something completely different, and for whatever reason, it's Dino De Laurentiis, so what went into a movie like that.
It's one of those films that has that beautiful soft edge around it, like every shot. I don't know,
like Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah. It's like they got a little bit of pomade on it. Like there's a lot of my favorite movies all have that like little.
Like Excalibur has it too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know what 100%. You're talking about. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I love it. It's not what many would consider a traditional action movie, but it is. It's start to finish.
Absolutely.
You got the hero going against the odds, putting a team together.
Yeah.
Rocket sleds.
The chat has a lot of good points. One of them is it's a shame it got overshadowed by Star Wars. Imagine what Flash Gordon would have been had it not come out right around that same time.
Imagine Disney owning Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't.
Yeah, I know.
They might.
They probably do. I mean, they made that.
I forgot about it.
They made that John Carter of Mars. That's almost there.
Yeah, but it just wasn't very good.
No,
I
it
gotta
wasn't
watch
good at
now.
all.
Now you got me thinking. I gotta get that. That might be my go to bed movie tonight.
Flash
Yeah.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to revisit that one. That's a great
Absolutely.
pick, John.
That's
Great
Go
pick.
Flash, go Flash, go! Like, come on, it's
Yeah,
stupid.
and you got your fish out of water trope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
It's just good pulp. It's that pulp. It's like John said, let's get the team together. Let's fight through all these different kind of things. It's great. It's like classic, it's like Jason and the Argonauts in space.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We go all the way back to Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey from the Greeks to the outer space. That's what makes these things. That's why we love these things.
Right.
It's
Love
the
it.
hero's journey.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hero's journey. Got it.
Oh man, I love Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
That's
it's a good one.
Has
What's-
anybody done like a Flash Gordon RPG?
I'm sure.
I'm sure. I mean, I know like for a while. So Flash Gordon comes out, and I remember like hot on the heels of Flash Gordon, you had Buck Rogers in
Yeah,
the 21st
yeah, yeah,
century. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know like call them Wizards. TSR was one of the big things that really blew TSR apart at the end was they did a Buck Rogers RPG.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's ever been a traditional RPG based on Flash Gordon. Stu would know. Like, and if you are a fan of the Vintage RPG podcast, I literally don't do any kind of planning. I just show up and I say, Stu, what are we talking about today? He literally wrote the book on RPGs. It's coming out from MIT Press. But I know a little bit, but I've never seen it. And I think that there's a lot of weird rights things with Flash Gordon because it's also like, it comes from the King World Syndicate comic strips, as well as, there's the movie rights titled with De Laurentiis. They did a very short-lived reimagining of Flash Gordon, kinda, and a loose spiritual sequel, Sci-Fi Channel, I want to say in the early mid-2000s, maybe around 2010, 2011. It only went, I think, one season, and it was definitely filmed in Canada. But and listen, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of
Sure.
these
I get what
programs.
you're saying.
You'll see a lot of the same things. They're all filmed in Canada, but it takes place after the movie, but in like modern times that they finally get off the planet, they finally get back to Earth. But I wouldn't be surprised if the rights are all tied up in weird spots.
Well, we have a pretty knowledgeable chat right now. So the Man Geek said it's a Hearst publication property, and Skunkworks said there's a Savage World one, and he actually put up a link for the Savage settings for Flash Gordon.
What up, Skunkworks?
Yeah, and the Man Geek said there was one in 1982. The library has both.
Mhm.
The library, indeed.
Who'd have thunk it? Getting your D&D and RPG books at the library.
It is the Alexandria RPG library that's in the chat. So
Love it.
they
Are you familiar with that, Hambone?
Well, no, not at all.
Give him a little shout out, Neon Lloyd.
Yeah, so what they do, I'm sure he'll David, the chief librarian's in the chat. What they do is they take donations and then they go from like conventions and they take all like half the library or a bit of the library with them and set it up so where people can check out old games that they weren't like accustomed to. And
I love it.
Yeah, that's I went with them when I was at PAX Unplugged. That's who I was running games for.
That is awesome. Yo, hit me up on social. I'll put you guys over. I'll let people know you're looking for stuff. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Great people over there.
Yeah,
Great
he's
people.
awesome. Good stuff. I mean, I'll be at PAX again this year, so if
Me too.
if some disconnect happens between now and then, John, I'll get you down there to him.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to meet them and talk to them about stuff for sure.
So, John,
Absolutely.
before we get to number 4, now that we're talking about games, why don't you? So, if there's that one person out there who may not be familiar with what you do, why don't you just run down your work in the gaming world?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the co-creator and co-writer of 3-2-1 Action RPG. It's a cinematic storytelling RPG. It runs off a single D10. You make it so with just one roll. And the idea is that we created an RPG that really anyone can play. And you can play it your way. Like a lot of times, and I'm not going to ever shit on anyone else's game or anyone else's systems, but a lot of times you always come up to that thing like, I want to do this, and your dungeon master, your keeper of secrets, like, your game runner, they don't know how this can work. But with 3-2-1 Action, it's simple. Like you could fill the plot hole in 2 sentences and let people know like why you know how to do this one thing you want to try. You roll a single D10, and the bonuses or penalties is going to be based on a 1, 2, or 3, and you just take it from there. You know, the idea, like for me, is that like my goddaughter, you know, hanging out with her during the pandemic, and she is going to be 5 shortly. But like, you know, watching her to learn her ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, it's like the primary building blocks of anybody's education.
Yep.
And the idea is like, well, if you can count to 10, you can play 3, 2, 1 action. You know, if you've ever watched a movie, read a book, enjoyed comic books, like someone told you like a historical story passed down through generations, like you can play 3, 2, 1 action. You just let me know what you want to do. You want to ride a motorcycle? All right, well, fill a pothole in 2 sentences. I used to ride dirt bikes with my cousin one summer. Mom hated it.
Yep.
All right, cool. Now you don't get a penalty anymore. Roll straight D10. Call it a day. You know, so we've written several games. We've kickstarted everything we've done. We did Escape from Point Nemo as a Rocket to Russia as a prequel to Escape from Point Nemo. Rocket to Russia, you are essentially a wet works team going to an island to take care of a rogue sniper, and you run afoul of all these creatures. Escape from Point Nemo is 2 years later. It's the full adventure. You're a documentary film crew getting wrecked on an island that you didn't think was supposed to be there. We did Children of Uma, which is a vehicle battle RPG. If you like the Warriors and you like Mad Max, just imagine that in 2060, the heartland of America, Midwest in Kansas, you're a bunch of teenage kids with electric and carbon powered cars just trying to cut out a piece of turf for yourself. We did a follow-up to that as well that's coming out as well called Mini Submania. It's the same band but in a different area. We just launched and successfully, thank you everybody who backed it, The Devil in New Jersey, which is a found footage horror RPG.
Oh my God, come on. Are you serious?
In the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. One of your friends goes missing, and you find a video camera. When you put the tape in, you see that she gets snatched by the Jersey Devil. So you and your buddies go looking for her one May evening.
This is blowing my mind. I missed that one. Where can we find all of these?
Exalted Funeral. Anything that we put out, Exalted Funeral. I'm so grateful to be partnered up with Exalted Funeral. That's where most people buy their RPGs that aren't, you know, traditionally published from, and they carry all our books there. If you want to check out 3, 2, 1 action, one thing that's very important to us is accessibility. So the rule book is always free in PDF form over on Drive-Thru RPG. We have a free-to-play pamphlet. It's a solo play RPG called The Hotel Exorcist. It's about a hard traveling hero who goes from hotels, motels, and bed and breakfast to excise unwanted guests. So you're in New Orleans, a dude brings home something he's not supposed to from the cemetery, and you got to make some stuff happen. But and also we have a Christmas adventure. I'm going to announce it here real quick. We're going to do it on Indiegogo. It's already been written. We gave it away for free as a PDF to all the backers in the first year, but we're going to try to raise some funds to make physical copies of it. It's called Kevin Saves Christmas. You are a fish person on the island of Point Nemo. You love Christmas. Krampus has come to the island with a bunch of like doughboy creatures. You use a magic gate to bring some of history's greatest heroes and villains through time. Madame Curie, Elizabeth Bathory, Hammurabi, Ned Kelly, and you have to fight off Krampus with these.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we're going to do that on Indiegogo, just raise enough just to physically put it out. But yeah, man. And also just add a little more art to it. But yeah, I mean, we're constantly working on stuff. Georgie's upstairs working on the big horror one for next year. Sally, my girlfriend's going to do the Western one. Sally Canarino, she's a comic book artist. If you love monster comics, boogie on down to your local comic shop. Her latest trade paperback from Vault, written by Peter Milligan, drawn by Sally, is called Human Remains. It actually is, I think, dropping tomorrow in trade paperback form all over the country near, friendly comic shop.
Moving and shaking over there, brother. Jersey's on fire.
The grind doesn't stop. And I play bass in an outlaw country band, and I'm the co-host of the Vintage RPG podcast. So I keep busy.
So what's the outlaw country band?
It's called Secret Country. They've been around for over a decade. I've been in the band about 4 or 5 years. And yeah, I mean, we are a bunch of old punk rock kids playing country music really fast.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
That's it.
Absolutely. I went down a similar path. Awesome. Very good.
You still got the necktie to prove it, Joey.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a great bolo.
I got Chris Christopherson's lyrics tattooed across my chest. I'm a hardcore old time country guy.
Love
From the Carter family all the way up to Porter Wagner and everybody in between. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah, I had to sit in the car with you. I heard all about it.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen Tales from the Tour Bus. Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead, he did King of the Hill. He did a series on Showtime. It was a documentary series, but it's all done with like live people and the things being reenacted by cartoons. But he did an entire season of old country singers.
Oh, really?
And like it, but just imagine like an old, and it's all like the first season was funk.
Yeah.
And you know, they finished up with I think Rick James. The second season, you got a bunch like Conway Twitty, a bunch of old country singers and stuff. But imagine this being reenacted in cartoon form, where in every episode someone shoots somebody, and it's narrated by Hank Hill.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, treat
I
yourself
gotta
right.
check that out.
Tales from the Tour Bus.
I knew you were going to say something about ending up with somebody shooting somebody, because that's an all too common story.
That's what they did in every one of these stories. Someone fires a gun at somebody.
Yep. What's his name? Oh man, I can't believe I'm blanking out now. Thanks a lot. He went into the record company and started shooting up the place. Oh, this is going to kill me now.
That could have been like one of 7 people, buddy.
Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Oh man. All right, I'll remember it.
Oh man, I love it so much.
So what number was that?
That was 5.
Yeah, so we did 5. So number 4, sticking with the kind of country-ish theme. My number 4 favorite action movie of all time is Roadhouse.
Oh,
yes. Wonderful.
Patrick Swayze classic. Rest in peace, Patrick.
Yep, another one of those movies, John. You got a theme here where the first half of the movie is completely different than the second half of the movie.
But you had like so many good elements to it though. Like,
oh sure,
yeah.
You know, the monster truck guy. You got the guy with the knife in the boot. You got John Doe from X playing like a sleazy, sleazy bartender who's like skimming from the till. Oh man.
Yeah, good. And then throat ripping.
That's
throat ripping.
That's the crescendo right there.
That's like literally the end of the movie though. Like, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Roadhouse yet.
Well, I mean, but they build it up so well through the movie. Like, and you know, people like they think of Roadhouse. A lot of people shit on Roadhouse, and wrongfully so. And most people I think who shit on Roadhouse haven't really watched Roadhouse.
Agreed.
You know, because like they do a great job of setting it up. It's like, well, why is he out in the world? Why is he like this? He's like, well, you know, something happened one night and he doesn't like to talk about it.
Yep.
And halfway through the movie, you know, you're kind of like, well, what did he do? Like, what happened? Then halfway through the movie, you know, Sam Elliot's like, well, blah, 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 blah. And then he ripped this guy's throat out, and you're like, shut up. He ripped a dude's throat out, and you're like, oh my God, I hope he's going to rip some dude's throat out, because now you're like, really like, all right, you know, is this going to happen? And then when he rips the dude's throat out, it does not disappoint. Like, the special effects person working on that, like, if I ever met them in the street, I would love to buy them dinner, because, you know, they could have half-hearted their way through it. They could have made it look kind of silly, but it actually looks like, no, Dalton ripped the dude's throat out. And then you get like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the movie. You get a great life lesson in it. You know, always be nice until it's time not to be nice. No matter how big a man is, take him out at the knees. Like, what else do you need to know?
Yeah. What was I going to say about it? Shit. I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm a big fan of prank phone calls. And one of my favorite prank phone call artists is Earls and Jensen. And they do a great one. They call up a bar like, you guys looking for a cooler? And I will no longer ever call a bouncer at a club a bouncer. For now on, they are now coolers. You guys got an evil landowner up there I need to take care of.
and like, you know, I mean, I worked in bars and restaurants for years, and like, you know, a bouncer is cool if they've seen Roadhouse.
Oh,
you know, like,
yeah.
A bouncer's job is to be like a hard ass all the time to everybody. But like, you know, you know, you have those moments when you're talking to a bouncer and they realize they know you're no threat, and they know you're just there to have a good time. And like, and like, you make a comment about the cooler, and like immediately, like, it drops the temperature in the room down 5 degrees with that bouncer. And they're like, all right, this guy's not going to fuck around.
You're one of us.
Yeah. Every bouncer out there, every cooler, you know, deep down, they want the Roadhouse experience, and they never get it. You know, you know.
They're all just waiting to rip out somebody's throat, to roundhouse somebody.
Yeah. God damn, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it sure is, man. That is a good one. And
Yeah, definitely. That's like my go-to, like sick at home movies. Roadhouse.
yeah, that's a good way to put that one. That goes on the shelf up there with UHF for me.
Oh yeah.
Let them never remake it.
Movies.
Oh, they
Yep.
are remaking it.
Oh, really?
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Really?
they. You know who do you think's playing Dalton?
The Rock.
No, but you shocker, right? He's supposed to be in Big Trouble in Little China, though. Unfortunately.
Another movie that should never be remade, but man, I'll always get behind Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I love that guy. Everyone loves Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Is it Ryan Reynolds as Dalton? Because that's the only other thing I could think of.
No, close. It is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Come on.
You didn't know they're remake it? Yeah, they're retry. Well, who knows if it's gonna happen? But as of right now, yeah, supposedly.
What needs to be redone? I don't get it. Like what? It's done. It's a beautiful movie. Why you got to do that?
Because
like
remakes. You know what? So I blame. So what was like the first like super famous like big remake? Right? It was like.
I mean, what haven't they remade it this? I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
like,
so I'm thinking it was like mid 2000s, back when it was like the horror movie craze. Like they remade Dawn of the Dead, they remade TCM, they remade Friday the 13th, they remade
Halloween. Oh, that's right.
Halloween.
Remember that remake of Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't bad. The one with one of the Supernatural brothers in it. It's was it Moose or Squirrel? It was not Jensen Ackles. It was the other guy. It was he's Walker Texas Ranger now. My brain is like failing me. My God, my brain is pudding.
Yeah, that's
It
what
is,
happened.
We got a lot of stuff up there, Hambone.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff
I
bouncing
know.
around upstairs.
You gotta stop
It's,
putting the pomade on the hair. It's sucking your brain juices out.
I know. But yeah,
Ernest Tubb. Sorry, that's the one. That's the one who went with the gun. That was Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Yep. There we go. see, it comes out eventually. You're gonna start.
Chat said it a while ago.
Did he? Okay, yeah. So, and I heard they're remaking Time Bandits now.
Are they?
Yeah. What's his name from What We Do in the Shadows and
Taika Waititi?
Jared Padalecki. He was in the Texas the Friday the 13th remake. It wasn't bad. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake was unforgivable. But oh God, see, like Taika Waititi, I can. If anyone could get the Time Bandits over,
yeah, I would agree.
Doesn't need to be remade though. Fine as it
doesn't need to be made. It'd be entertaining. You know, he'll put his spin on it.
Yeah. So like so something happened in one of those remakes. I mean, the Dawn one was super, was good, and they made money. It was very popular. So I wonder if I have to see the timeline on things, because I feel like there was one that everyone was like, "Look, see, like remakes work," and then they just haven't stopped.
So part of the remake process, from what I kind of know of that business, is that they do it so they don't lose any rights to the product.
That makes sense too. Yeah,
because
the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's essentially like, we need to make this, and now because of the advent of streaming and all these different streaming programs, they just need content. But now they can make things reasonably less expensive and just maintain those rights, so no other company just buys it up, puts it in the vault, or like goes and makes it their own way like later on. But yeah, I mean, it's the write-off aspect or the rights retainment aspect of the remakes I get, but I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
See, you're breaking kayfabe again.
Sorry, man. I can't help it.
Speculating on this grand idea.
There's so much stuff happening.
No, you're fine.
Man.
You're fine. I'm just messing. Yeah, I mean, that unfortunately is probably right and sad. It's just all about the rights to it. I mean, it makes sense. It really makes sense for a lot of these too. Like, because like Nightmare on Elm Street, you don't want that to dry up. But then again, do you really want a Robert Englund? You know, like that's a weird spot.
Yeah. I kind of wish Robert Englund did more. Like, I wish he got hired for more acting gigs than he did, because he's genuinely good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
You know, and anything else he's in at that where he's not Freddy, he's really good in. You know, it's like I kind of wish he did more character work. So I really do love Robert Englund.
Seems like a nice guy too. I've never met him at a horror con, but he just seems like a friendly guy who hams it up with his fans.
Yeah,
I heard he's lovely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it seems
Maybe
like
we'll have him on sometime. Right. Maybe
Hey,
we'll have.
maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
your people call his people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Unfortunately, my people is me, and I got to do all the legwork because Joey's the talent.
I mean, you see the hair. He's
Yeah.
clearly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's got the hair and the Lone Ranger mask.
Oh, this is my face. This
Yeah.
is real. This is a
Tattooed
growth.
on.
This is a growth.
It's like my aunt back in the day. She plucked her eyebrows too much. She lost her eyebrows. Her eyebrows were tattooed to her face. Same thing with the Domino mask. I mean, I can see it.
No, I met a guy. I mean, one of the most famous tattooed men in sideshow history, Mr. Jack Dracula.
That's great. That's a great name.
He had a he did tattooing in my town in the 60s, but he was photographed by Diane Arbus. Really interesting guy, and he had a Lone Ranger mask tattooed on his face. I found out where he was living in the early 2000s, and I took a trek down to Philadelphia. I found him living in a senior citizens home, and I got to meet him right before he died. Pretty cool experience. Jack Dracula.
Jack Dracula. See, in New Jersey, we had I don't know if you're familiar with Zachary.
Of course, I met it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got his autograph hanging up in the Mozzarella Museum.
Yeah,
It's awesome. Met him at the same famous monster movie convention.
Yeah, just a lovely, lovely, sweet man who never really got his due during the time when he was active, but then after, everyone's like, "No, we love you." And,
He's one of the. That guy.
Gave that love back.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That guy. Hopefully, one day he will be appreciated on a grander scale.
Yeah,
He is what a cool guy. He has been a huge influence as me. I never got to see him on TV, but it was just through like the monster mags in the 90s and stuff. I was always chasing that stuff. And I remember Scary Monsters magazine. Sometimes they do the Flexa vinyls inside the issues.
Yeah.
And there was a Zachary one that was really cool, but really a gentleman through and through. Made a big impact on me when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, growing up in New Jersey, we had, Zachary, and then we had Uncle Floyd. Uncle Floyd
Floyd, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's why when I got the invite to do the show, I was like, I'm absolutely jumping at the chance to do this because this is the wheelhouse I grew up in as a child.
Oh man, thank you. That means a lot to us. But that's my bread and butter right there, man. I remember one of the coolest things I saw was the Ramones on Uncle Floyd. They did a great performance on that.
That's the vaudeville dude.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. Quick little sidebar. If you are watching right now and you can see over my shoulder here, this little book, I talk about it on the show on Monday in the Vintage RPG podcast. Spoilers. We're going to be talking about that.
Oh, WHPA.
Yeah.
Hey-oh!
And one of the things I mentioned is Uncle Floyd, and I mentioned the Ramones on Uncle Floyd because that was like, for a Jersey guy, that was a very big moment.
Oh, absolutely. And you could tell they were loving it. That's how you could tell, like, oh man, they're just like us.
It is such an honor for so many bands. Like they'll tell you like the highlights of their careers. Like, hey, we played the Garden. We were on Uncle Floyd.
I'd rather play Uncle Floyd. Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool stuff. That man, Uncle Floyd, watching the clips of that and Beyond Vaudeville. I probably watch a clip of Beyond Vaudeville. I'm not joking. Every day when I'm having lunch, I put that on in the background. That's one of my favorite things.
What was the name of the show on MTV?
Oddville.
Yeah.
That's when they got a contract.
It's the same shtick, but Blink-182's on that one.
Yeah, they had a lot of people.
It's like an awkward Blink-182 playing like on the show. It's really funny.
That's how I fell in love with Low Straight Jackets.
Yeah,
I mean, surf music and luchador mask. Come on, that's my life. And that's the first time I found out about Low Straight Jackets. Right over here, right next to me in my coffin case. That's my guitar, John. I got my the Pinto Galaxy 4.
Love it.
Low Straight Jackets model.
That's great.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Woo!
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go do karate in the garage after this because I think the three of us all just became best friends. And you can have more than one because it's a tier, not a person.
Yes.
Kaylin.
So then, John, you're gonna have to be an honorary third Ravioli for Randy. Then you'll have to come on and do more episodes with us.
Anytime you want to have me, I'm happy to show up. This is great.
Oh, absolutely.
We got to get all these greatest hits together to roll some dice, Bry. Let's put the money where the mouth is, and let's go on
absolutely
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. We got to We can get that together. Sure, we get like a Legion of Doom style
Yes.
game.
Yes.
So, all right, number 4, Roadhouse.
So number 3.
Oh, here, I love it.
This is my super curveball.
As
I
a
don't know.
number 3 should be. The number 3 should always do this.
It's one of those films that, like, even though it's my number 3, I let myself forget about from time to time, because whenever I rediscover it every few years, I am so excited about it. It's a little buddy cop movie called Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal.
Yes.
And it takes place in Chicago in the 80s. And it is like the most buddy cop movie you could possibly ever imagine. But, like, you have Billy Crystal just when he was on the cusp of becoming like the biggest thing in Hollywood for a good block of years. Like, this is like obviously pre City Slickers, like, he's like hosting the Oscars all the time, but like he's on the precipice, and he's like the wisecracking like buddy who like just talks shit the entire movie. Like, the entire movie is him and like tap dancing Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines with his shoes, man. Magic shoes.
The magic shoes, classically trained, like incredible at everything else that he does, and he just shows up. And if you could imagine, like, he is like just chewing up the scenery with Billy Crystal for like 88 minutes or something like that. Dan Hyeda is their like boss cop who's like had way too much of their shit. Like, he's on like, he's popping like nitro pills every day because they're really pushing their limits. But some great action scenes in there, some like ridiculous shit, like a great car chase and things are blowing up. They got like these like funny like we've been partners for so long, like we have our own language, but like we're letting you in on this, so you feel like you're like the guy riding in the back seat, like enjoying it like more than you probably should. But yeah, Running Scared, not many people that I know it, but anyone who does, they're like, yeah, that movie's great. That movie's good. It's like a hidden gem, and that's why I place it at number 3. I mean, because like it's not the best movie ever made, but man, like I said, I let myself forget about it so I can rediscover it every few years and be happy that I did.
You got good taste, man. I have
Thanks,
distinct memories of that being like the 8 o'clock movie. Remember, like when the 8 o'clock movie was a thing, like your parents would be like, "Oh no, be quiet! The 8 o'clock, the movie's coming on." That would be one of those ones they would tease it for like 2 weeks. Like this Thursday night at 8 o'clock, Running Scared.
Yeah.
And they
like
give you a little synopsis in the commercial.
Oh, yeah. They're like running around their long johns in like Chicago. And like the ending is like one of those big endings where it's like, these two buddies who've been at it for longer than they probably should have that moment where like, we're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Like, like we're going to fight to the end. We're probably not walking out of this gunfight. And miraculously, I mean, because of course they do. And they're like, shocked we didn't die.
Yep. That is definitely a curveball. There was a piece of time, I think, around that time. What was that? Probably 80.
I want to say it was 86.
I was going to say 86. There's like a block of movies in that time, almost lost to time.
Yeah.
That were absolute classics. Actors and comedians at their prime that have just kind of, for some reason, have been lost to the ether. We gotta look out for those movies.
Like what else? Give us some names on that.
So you got something like that, and I think there's in the changing of generations, we've lost some things. Like not a funny movie, but like Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
Like powerhouse screenwriters or powerhouse casting agents putting these things together. What else? Because that's the thing. I need to go back and research it because I was too young to really grasp it at the time when they were on TV. Like I said, that was more what your mom and dad were watching.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What are some other ones around that time like that?
Well, I mean, look, 84, 85 at the multiplex. It was back-to-back bangers from like, because, now in January and February, that's kind of like the dead time. Then going into Christmas, you have like the one big movie that they're going to release at Christmas. But like from November on, everything's kind of like crap. There was nothing like that for 84, 85. It was back-to-back bangers. And then you had a lot of these actors coming off of like shows, being edgy comedians where like they're still doing cocaine, but just enough that they're still funny, but not too much that they're bearable people to be around. And like, they're transitioning to more like family-friendly fare, or more like, you have Eddie Murphy going from like Eddie Murphy Raw to like Beverly Hills Cop.
Right.
And it was definitely kind of a pivot,
Yeah, totally.
So you just opened up the floodgates with the Coke comment, because I'm thinking about Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, all the movies they did together.
Oh my God, yeah.
See No Evil, Hear No Evil, those kind of movies.
Oh my God, you could definitely not make that movie. Like
no. I mean, they were crazy. They were crazy.
Oh
These
my God,
would not fly today. The Toy, holy
shit, yeah. Trading Places, like you
Trading
could not
Places,
make these, yeah. Oh,
spot
wow.
on. But I mean, just I bet the stories behind the scenes and the old Hollywood that got those things together with a cigar around the table,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like,
right? You ever see The Toy?
No.
With Richard Pryor. Woo, Jackie. Woo, what's his name? Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason. Yeah, I think one of his last performances too.
The captain's hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the Dudley Moore one where he's a drunk? The whole
Arthur.
Arthur. How funny it is he's a drunk and he can't find love. Those were crazy movies.
Didn't they remake Arthur?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look, there's certain actors around that time that could pull that stuff off, and I don't think it's like kind of looking back through like times like Window or like rose-colored glass or anything. Like when you see some of these remakes, we're gonna go back to the remake thing. Like you can't. Whoever's doing it now is going to try to hit the poignant parts of the story, and not just go for the cheap pop and the cheap laughs. Because that's honestly what made a lot of these movies great, is because it was really like, you had to work, you would eventually get to that poignant response and that place where like you see like the real core and the heart of the movie, but like you at least did, it was subterfuge, because you were like, look, you were at all the first thought humor, but not really kind of like, having to be hit over the head with like what the real story is. Like, so, Arthur,
well put. The Man Geek makes a very good point. 86 was also the big jump to homes with cable, and the movie took a hit.
Oh yeah.
So that means there's
Detroit. Anything with a zany hospital staff.
Yeah.
like,
oh God, yeah.
Well, that's like the start of the VHS revolution. Then you got like all the direct to VHS amazing movies probably starting around that time.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah,
this is awesome. I love it. Just there's others of us out there. Hambone, you're a friend. You're an immediate friend.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. You guys are my friends too. I'm loving this, and it's nice to be able to talk about all this bullshit with somebody, because it's like I talk about like my brain being pudding a lot, because I got a lot of things going on, and also like I was a hard partier for about like 2 decades, so I think there's certain parts that haven't undented yet. But
sure.
My encyclopedic knowledge of like movies and dumb stuff that my dad said you will never make money on. Who's laughing now, man? I write books.
Exactly. Like we're channeling it all into productive venues.
Books, books have been written.
So
money made. I don't know. Maybe,
no. We kayfabe that to death.
Yeah.
So I knew this was going to happen, Bri. I've been been waiting for beef to catch it. But our friend Garrett up there in Ottawa just wrote, Hambone keeps dropping the wrestling nods, putting over Pops, etc. I love to talk wrestling with him. So there's a deep wrestling vein.
Yeah, when we do the wrestling episode, we'll have to have Garrett and John on.
That was a great idea.
To the I'd love it.
Great idea. That's a great idea.
That'll be a good one.
So what's the deuce?
Oh.
The deuce. So the top 2 it's hard, because like, like I feel like the top 3 even is like a real summation of, what you're in, what really grabs you in these movies. But number 2 is Predator, man. Number 2.
There you go.
It's and it's hard because listen, Schwarzenegger put out a lot of great action movies during that time, but man, Predator, like the big one of the big influences of Rocket to Russia was Predator, because like, these dudes in the jungle, you son of a bitch, like, just
Still
all the
in.
stuff I've been trying to
You
still
son
in.
of a bitch. CIA got you pushing pencils.
Yeah, my God. You know,
Another
like,
great action movie that uses the party. You know,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah, I
different
mean-
all the different roles.
Yeah. What cannot be said that hasn't been already said about the Predator on this show? I feel like we talk about the Predator a lot. I consider it the perfect action movie.
it is start to finish.
Yeah. It's
You
got
know,
everything you need.
Great effects, great monster
Yeah.
look, like something that, like, you know, occasionally I think you see these things like when it's happening, and you know that this is going to be something that sticks with us, like, you know, the look of the Predator, look of the Xenomorph, like Freddy Krueger, Jason, what from 3 on, like, you just know that, like, people are going to pay to see that, and they're going to, I mean, look, they just did Prey. I don't know if you guys have seen Prey over on the Hulu.
I gotta see that. I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
have
it
yet
What do
either.
you think? What do you think about that one?
For me,
Yeah.
as far as Predator movies go, it's Predator and Prey. Everything else
Ooh.
is what it is.
Wow.
Prey is like, it is like truly a Predator movie, like in what you want a Predator movie to be. You know, I mean, I love Predator 2 for like very different reasons. But
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah, Predator 2 is amazing.
yeah, it's amazing. Again, it's like the Terminator 2 thing. It's not better. It's just very different. But like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Predator, Prey, and then Predator 2. Everything else is kind of like up in the air for me, especially
Wow.
that last the disappointing Shane Black Predator movie that he made, which is I couldn't believe that he made that, because he's made some of my favorite movies,
Yeah.
written some of my favorite movies.
Embarrassingly bad, because you're like, well, Shane Black is coming back as the writer to Predator. We made it, guys. And then we go into the theater. It's like, holy shit, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, he wrote Lethal Weapon,
Yep.
Monster Squad,
Yep.
Night of the Creeps,
Yep.
Kiss
Night
Kiss
of the
Bang,
Creeps.
yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, like.
Yep. Another banger, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, okay, this is, he did Iron Man 3. Like he is good. And I'm like, oh wow, he's gonna do a Predator movie? This is good. We're in good hands, guys. This is fine. It's gonna be like the best Predator movie since the first one. And then, like, I watched it. Now, granted, like, you know, this is during the hard party and heyday. So I watched it, I was in the bag, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's me, because I definitely was out beforehand, maybe to a few places. So then, like, I waited a week and I watched it again stone sober, and I was like, nope, you weren't wrong. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
So
really
what happened? How do you go from so high to
bad.
that?
Studio interference.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's what my hypothesis is on that.
Yeah.
One. Good call.
You know what? I'm taking that one to the bank. It
Yep.
was studio interference and not Shane. Shane, I give you a pass.
Let's get him on the show. Joey.
He'll explain it, Shane.
Yeah.
Shane will explain.
Shane explains. That's the segment we'll have.
My
And it's
people,
every episode of Ravioli, we just go to him and say, "What the fuck were you thinking?" And it's just like
That'll be the clip.
Yeah,
Like your Mac and Me, the wheelchair going off the quarry. Oh, there we go.
God.
Mark the box. Mac and Me was mentioned.
There you
we
go.
We're hitting all the bingo. Ravioli bingo.
There's two more. We got 25 minutes left because we're gonna try to end. Oh no, less than that. Yeah, 25 minutes left.
Excuse another Joey tangent, but since I got my buddy on here, I want to address this with him. Talking about hard partying, switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Does the words "orchids of Hawaii" mean anything to you?
Yeah, man.
I did a little research, and I saw that you are also a mug aficionado.
Yeah, I am. I have a very small mug collection. My buddy George, who I did Mai Tai happy hour with,
I
for
was
6
watching
weeks.
last night. Mai Tai happy hour.
He like tells me, he's like, Hambone, I can't buy anymore. I shouldn't buy anymore. And then something will come out. He's like, and his son's also going to be 5. His son's awesome, and his son like wants to collect tikis as well.
Yeah.
So he is constantly like, you know, I mean, listen, man, I had a lot of fun. I drank everything I possibly could have. And then, like, you know, a little over 3 years ago, I was like, okay, and we're done. And it's bing awesome ever since. I don't think I could have written and done all the stuff that I've been doing, you know, if I was still having that long weekend. But man, I'll tell you, like, when you get into tiki, and you know, the drinks are flowing, you're like, all right, I'm gonna buy this mug. They're like, well, it's like $60. Like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And then you get home, it's like, why is my bar bill so high? It's like, oh, well, you drank like
I know.
$60 worth of liquor, and then you bought a $60 tiki mug, and you're like, oh, it's ugly.
Yeah, I don't touch the sauce anymore, but I had a deeper appreciation for Polynesian restaurants that were stuck in time and collecting those old mugs that I had as a kid. Because we go just get like the little pina coladas when we were a kid. But my son has a collection. My son Elvis has like one whole wall. Like his collection has grown exponentially to surpass mine. But I'm an original Orchids of Hawaii mug guy.
It's such a beautiful and rich tradition. And
It is.
especially like these old like Polynesian style restaurants that like, you know, we had a great one, you know, I mean, there's still the Hawaiian Islander down the road, which is an iconic
Yeah,
place.
that's down by you.
That's down by me. But we had Lanois in Roselle, New Roselle. I never had to drive there myself. But, you know, they didn't survive the pandemic. And there's a lot
they
of other
recently closed, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of great spots that like, you know, look, it's a hard sell for a lot of people. It's not some place where you're just gonna go and have dinner. Like it's an experience.
It is an experience.
And a lot of these places that are experiences, just you know, as the years go on and as tastes change, it gets harder and harder to pack these places in where you're going to turn those tables and you're going to make a profit. So, if you got one by you, this is my public service announcement for Real Buddy HB. If you have one of these great places by you, support it, go there, enjoy it, and appreciate it while it's there. Because one day it's not going to be, and you're going to be really bummed.
And it's gone and lost to time.
The more you know.
Bri, do you have any like old Polynesian or old Chinese restaurants by you with the tiki lounges?
The only place I've ever been is the Enchanted Tiki Bar in Disney.
Yeah,
that's great. That's a good one.
That's the only place I've ever been. It's across from my favorite ride.
What's your
Jungle
favorite ride?
Cruise.
Yeah. The what?
You
cut out.
The Jungle Cruise.
Oh, the Jungle Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's across the hall right from the Jungle Cruise.
You're not a Haunted Mansion? I thought you'd be a Haunted Mansion guy.
So I am a Haunted
That's
Mansion
my
guy.
favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Haunted Mansion's iconic. Pirates. So it's the trifecta for me: Jungle Cruise, Pirates, and Haunted Mansion.
But you know what I love? It's a small world.
You would.
I like. There's so much like it's like the like quintessential '60s kitsch.
You ever been?
Colors
stuck in
like
there?
You're on the Lawrence Welk show. I love it.
Yeah,
we got stuck on It's a Small World for like 30 minutes in the same spot.
Punishment 90. Where are you? I mean, he's typing and driving. Ravioli's on the road, but he has a tiki lounge that's also a strip club where he is. Very interesting.
In, Pennsylvania somewhere. I know that.
That's a very Pennsylvania thing. I love that.
We had a place called China Village, and it was beautiful. It was dark. It was red. It's like, as a kid on Friday nights, you'd go there, and looking back, it was like walking into a Tom Waits song, you know. And there's one in Hyannis, Rhode Island, Hyannis, Massachusetts, one of the best ones that's still around, and it's called Tiki Port, and that's straight up Tom Waits. That is dark. It is red and it is gold, and they got that little stand. I remember the place near me; they had the stand right in front where it was like the register, but it had the glass case where you could buy the mugs and the little umbrellas. I love that stuff.
Does Elvis have the sumo wrestler mug where you put the straw in his belly button?
No, he's got a Betty Hanna's version of that one where it's like a Buddha.
Buddha.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a sumo wrestler.
So I think my iconic one that I still have from when I was a kid, one of the tikis might end up on the arm one of these days as a tribute. Another nostalgia.
Yeah, man. You know, you get a little older, start running out of room, you know?
Look at this, man. I saw the General Mills friends over there.
Oh, yeah. That was earlier this year. I got and there's still room for Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy, but these are the ones. Yeah.
Because those are the ones that we grew up with, right? I didn't see Fruit Brute or Yummy Mummy in the stores when I was a kid.
Well, actually, Joey, Yummy Mummy is from the 90s.
So that's I knew
from the 70s.
I think you had told me about that before. That Yummy Mummy was not an original one.
No,
it wasn't. Fruit Brute was. Yummy Mummy. Fruit Brute wasn't original too. Fruit Brute came a little later, but Fruit Brute was a lot older than Yummy Mummy. But man, I love it so much. I love all this stuff. I got like my Elvira dagger. I don't know if you can see that. I got my spear. You know.
Oh, you do. Oh, there he goes, man. That's my number. That's one of my number one movies of all time.
All time. Have you seen the 4K cut?
No, I have not seen the 4K cut.
They released the 4K cut. It is just
Yeah, even the wife is into it. Like, I put on some crazy stuff as I'm trying to fade away.
Yeah.
But that's the one that I can always get away with. She's like, man, this is something.
What is it?
Phantasm, ladies and gentlemen. If you
Oh,
don't know what I'm
Phantasm.
talking about. Woo! That's a great one. Angus Scrim, same famous
I know.
Monsters convention. Met him. One of the nicest guys I met all weekend there. Angus Scrim was as kind as he was tall.
Yeah, I never got to meet him. That's one of the things I'm bummed about in life. But oh God, I love Phantasm so much.
Joey, we were
That
talking about
falls.
General Mills cereals here. God damn it!
I'm hopping all around. We got a buddy now, Mill. We gotta get all this clubhouse stuff.
But I was. So did you? What's your? Did you try Fruit Brute this year? That's like
no, I haven't gotten Fruit Brute.
I was asking our guest, Joey.
Oh, excuse me.
So here's the thing. I only eat Count Chocula now. I'm a Count Chocula man through and through.
Die hard, huh?
Here's the thing. Like I went, and whenever they came out, I would always buy them. I'd buy a box of each one. I'd make my way through it. But like in the end of the day, once I get down to Yummy Mummy, I'm like, I just really want Count Chocula again. And then you hit a point where you just can't get it in the stores anymore. So I was like, you know what? Like, everyone knows I love this shit. I don't gotta fucking prove anything to anybody. I'm just gonna buy Count Chocula. So my goddaughter comes down the other day, and she comes down to hang out with me and Sally. She pops through the door, and she's like, "Can I have some snacks?" She sits on the couch. We watch cartoons, and I was like, "You want snacks?" She's like, "Yeah." So I pour out some Count Chocula into a bowl, and I gave it to her. It's a little bowl. She's a little kid. And she looks down at it. She's like, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh, it's Uncle Hambone's favorite cereal." And so she looks down and she takes one of those little marshmallow bats. She puts it in her mouth. She gets quiet for a second, and then she sits up straight and she looks at me and she goes, "I love it." Yes. And so now she comes knocking on my door, like, because I live in a family building where there's it's my best friends. His family lives upstairs and they're above it. But she'll come all the way down from the top floor and she'll knock on my door. She'll bring a little trick or treat bucket. She's like, "Hambone." She's like, "Give me the spooky bats." So like I have a box that I'm just eating through just so I can get spooky bats for her. But I make her say trick or treat because if she's gonna get them, she's gonna do it. She's gonna earn it honest.
Absolutely.
Now, am I wrong in that Count Chocula was evergreen? Like he wasn't seasonal. Like he was.
The Monster cereals for a long time were evergreen. Yeah, long time. And then like 2000s ish, then they just started being seasonal.
I remember there was like a dead space for a couple of years where you didn't see them, and then they came back. And I think we talked about this right before, but the Blueberry and Frankenberry don't taste like they used to. And I think we discovered we did some research on that.
Yeah, we did the research on the wheat versus the corn. I believe it was cereal.
That's what it was. Yeah, the wheat versus the corn. Don't get me wrong, I'll still buy them, but Hambone, I do respect you sticking to themes, and you can't go wrong with the Count.
It's funny to chime in on that. I was the opposite as a kid. I would only eat Count Chocula up until very recently, actually. Like I would never get Blueberry because like Blueberry is disgusting, which I still don't like it, but I like Frankenberry. Like I did Frankenberry and Count Chocula this year. I didn't get any Fruit Brute yet because cherry. I mean, like I don't know, it's whatever.
Aesthetically, I love the idea.
Yummy
Mummy. Am I gonna put it in my mouth? Yeah, it's vanilla, right? It's
it is orange vanilla, actually, Mr. Hambone.
Creamsicle flavored. Yeah,
is it really?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless.
I do like a Yummy Mummy. I do like the Yummy Mummy. So like, if I could get Yummy Mummy and Count Chocula, I'd be set. I could go without Frankenberry, which is still good. It's still not bad. Like, but I have never had it as a kid. I always Count Chocula like all the way. Because I mean, it's classic. It's just a great flavor.
Well, the name is awesome. I mean, that's like one of the coolest names of a Count Chocula. That marketing genius right there.
They did. If you see it over my other shoulder, there's a General Mills board game that came out. I want to say it was like 7 years ago at this point. It was at Gen Con with me and George. George, who's the co-creator, writer through Twin Action, and we're walking around Gen Con, and they have and I hadn't seen Count Chocula out in the wild in a while. And they had a big tower Count Chocula. I was like, "Oh my god, can I get a box of Count Chocula?" They're like, "Well, you have to buy this game." And I was like, "All right, cool." And and I was like, "Just give me the game. How much is it? $20." I was like, "All right, cool." So I took it to George. And he's like, "You just spent $20 to get a box of Count Chocula?" I was like, "Damn right I did." And so we're driving back from Indiana, and I'm sitting there. It's his turn to drive, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm just shoveling it in my mouth. He's like, are you going to eat that entire box of Count Chocula before you get home to New Jersey? I said, dude, I'm going to eat this entire box of Count Chocula before we make it through Pennsylvania. You know, because it was like one of the little boxes. Don't get it twisted. It was one of the tiny boxes, but it was still like, you know, a full size box.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
What did you do the Monster Mash last year?
I missed it. I was trying to find it, and every store that I went to didn't have it. And I was bummed about it because I was really looking hard for it. But
Still have 2 unopened boxes.
You still have them?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to save them like collector's edition or anything. I'm gonna eat it eventually, but
yeah, it was one of those things where like I don't know. I can't prove it, but I think they shorted it. You know, because they did all of them together.
I could
yeah. They wanted to get that whole mountain.
I mean, they're all in there, Joey. Even Count Chocula mixed with the fruit monsters.
I love, and of course, as nature would have it, I adore Boo Berry.
Yeah,
I adore Boo Berry.
So
to count the neon one.
There is this show. It was Fred Willard hosted it, where it was on VH1, where it was like people and they're obsessed with things, like overly obsessed with things. And one of the episodes is a guy who is obsessed with Boo Berry. He's got like the Boo Berry tattoo, wears like a Boo Berry like beanie, and it falls into the grocery store back when you could buy it.
Yeah, oh, that's great.
Year, and he just had a cart full. That's all he ate was Boo Berry too.
I gotta find this because I'm a huge Fred Willard fan.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
There's like a Ninja Turtles episode where a girl's like Ninja Turtle obsessed. That's like
she's like learning how to do karate in the Ninja Turtles outfit.
Yeah, then her brother beats her up in the yard.
I felt so bad because she just really wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, and her brother went and like whooped her ass on VH1.
This sounds like gold.
I can't remember the name of the show. It was good. It's like
I'll look it up. Fred Willard VH1. He was amazing on Tim and Eric on a couple of.
Oh my God, Fred Willard was like an institution.
Rest in peace, buddy.
God, he was so good.
They did him dirty in that movie theater. They did him dirty. Him and my buddy Pee Wee.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did do him dirty in that movie theater.
I'm not tracking this. There's an illicit Pee Wee Herman, a Paul Rubens, Fred Willard like scenario happened.
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah, Fred. You know,
he was watching a movie. It was dark. There's no proof.
Enjoying himself a little too much in a movie theater, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
So
Paul Rubens did up,
and they have General Mills Monster Tiki mugs connecting.
Yeah, they got. I got a Skeletor one. So
you got a Skeletor one?
Yeah, the Skeletor one is great.
I got like a Raphael one, I think too. But yeah, like I'm not a Tiki guy, but they just fall in your lap. You see a Skeletor Tiki, you're gonna buy it, right? Like.
Yeah.
Who's that? That's got to be Super 7, right? They got all the licenses.
I want to say it's either Super 7 or
Beeline Creative, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. That's what it is.
Beeline Creative, a few years back.
That's a great
Tiki. Yep. They just were like, we're gonna license everything. They did these massive like Garbage Pail Kid ones. They had the sharing bowl that was the Millennium Falcon. Like,
yeah. My son's got a giant Han and Carbonate one.
I have that. Yeah, I use it for flowers.
Bri, I was thinking about it's big enough. Geez, you could put a whole bouquet in there. Yep. I was thinking about you, Bri. I saw something posted. I think it's at San Diego Comic-Con or something. But the people that made the Zoltan fortune telling machine for Big just made an atom bomb one for like the Tops booth.
Oh my God!
What?
Yeah.
Like full size, and like if you go, you get like Atom Bomb will pass you out a special card or something like that.
I love it.
Yeah. I
love it.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I am excited. We've got number 1 to do still.
I know. I'm just putting off the inevitable. The number 1.
You're the one that's got to go in 19 minutes, 10 minutes.
Well, I got kids. I got work tomorrow.
He's got things.
I could, but
they do have the Garbage Pail Kid Chrome packs at Target right now.
Those are cool. Yeah.
And that's series 4, right?
Yeah. This is series whatever you said before. I saw it.
Yeah,
Target bringing the heat lately.
Yes,
with
they are.
With the toys. 4, yeah, the pop culture selection, the board game selection. It's just like they finally got someone working uptown who's like, yeah, well, this is what people actually will pay
for. Target's been good to us. At
They
the
got
house,
some
for sure.
a Stern Pinball Elvira pack right now at Target. You get like a T-shirt, you get like a little Elvira
What?
miniature. Oh yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah.
I didn't see that. I would have picked that up today. too.
Oh, man.
It just hit this week. I don't know if they
Creature
got it
from the
everywhere.
Black Lagoon and Elvira, two of my
Best
favorite
pinball machines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, best pinball machine, South Park.
Tales from
What?
the Crypt.
Tales
I
from
don't
the
know.
Crypt's a
I
good
never
one,
played
too.
the South Park one,
Oh
but
my God, it's
Creature from the Black Lagoon. I spent hundreds of dollars on that at Coney Island.
They got a place in Jersey called the Silver Ball Museum. It's all old pinball machines.
Oh my
You
god!
pay for an hour, you can play. But they got the Creature, they got Elvira, they got the Twilight Zone, which is another like fantastic old pinball machine.
Yeah, Twilight Zone. That
Yeah.
I mean that was game changing. That was one of the ones that really put
Yeah.
pinball machines
episode
over around
one. You ever play the episode one Phantom Menace pinball?
Yeah,
That's
the
a
one
good
that's
one
all
too.
it's all ramps and no bumpers. It's crazy.
And then it's got that screen too that'll pop
Yeah.
down. You gotta hit battle.
Oh yeah,
droids
yeah.
with
Episode one. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the new ones that came out. They did the Hobbit and the Wizard of Oz. If you ever had the chance to play the Wizard of Oz pinball machine, it's exceptional.
I can
Oh.
imagine it being
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Oh legit. Oh, real quick though, before I forget, the number one,
Yeah.
because I feel like this is one that needs to be talked about.
Sure.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Yeah.
That's it. That was it.
Got
You
it
know?
all. It's my Stefan moment. It's got it all. It's got everything you could ever need.
Perfect. It's again starts out as something, ends at something else. In the middle is just Kurt Russell just being great,
Yeah.
just great. Great story, great plot, great acting. A beholder. It's got
Yeah.
a friggin'
I know.
beholder
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went back to that a couple weeks ago, and through the lens of holy cow, the set design
Yeah.
in that movie.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
a
man,
work
it's-
of art.
it
It's
really
not
is.
just a fun trip through 80s action. That is a work of art.
Yeah,
John
because
Carpenter. Oh yeah, go ahead.
they're building sets.
Yeah,
You know,
back in
it's-
the heyday of sets. Yeah.
You either had during that period you had sets or you had paintings of what the backgrounds were going to be. There was no in between. There's no CGI. There's no projecting anything. It's a legit, like they're running up the stairs. Some union carpenter built that
Yes.
with their hands.
Well, that second scene in the back alley, it's
Yeah.
almost like they intentionally said, we're going to build the set so that it looks like a set. And I really love that. There's an intentionality of just a hint of the artificialness of that. Hey, we're on a movie set. Let's show them we're actually on a movie set. Let's not trick them to think we're in a back street at San Francisco.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They did it. It was class.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's like the low pan mysticism of
Yes.
it at that part, because that's like when he shows up, like the Lords of Death or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Like
Still gives me
Yeah.
shivers. Bro. Still,
Yeah,
that's real. I'm not acting. That still
Oh.
gives me shivers from when I was a kid. That somber funeral procession, and then they appear. Oh,
yeah, but I mean, there's like machine guns in the casket.
yep.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah,
Three
John
stars.
Carpenter at his finest, at his most underappreciated, like financial flop of a movie that didn't find its audience till VHS.
He's my favorite director, like hands down. Like when I make lists of like favorite movies, he's made most of them. So I say by default, like if someone's like, "Who's your favorite director?" It's John Carpenter.
Yeah, I could see that. He shows up on this show a lot.
I just love that he's got his hands on everything. The music.
Oh yeah.
I was driving my kid to school yesterday, and we were pumping the Halloween theme because he's trying to learn it on a little keyboard, with the black keys and all that.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
But just the buildup of that, just a little, it's a perfect piece of music. Not to speak hyperbolically, to me, that is a perfect piece of soundtrack music right there. The Halloween theme song.
I don't think you'll ever find anyone to disagree.
Yeah, Carpenter's a genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alexander RPG. I saw that Carpenter's doing tours,
Yeah.
music.
I have friends who saw him. They love it. They say like it's there. It's him and his kid, and they play like clips of the movies in the background as they do it, and it's just awesome.
Hey, remember I was telling you
Right.
about? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to tell you real quick. Goblin's coming through Connecticut.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
Ooh.
Yep, I missed him
Wow.
last time around, but I might have to go check him out.
Guar is gonna be at Niagara Falls, so I may hit Guar this year. I don't know yet.
You
Let's
haven't
see.
seen him yet, right? In
Mm.
person?
No, because I'm an idiot And then like in the 90s they used to do the Guar Misfits Halloween show every year. And then like I was like, that's
Took that for
stupid.
granted.
Like yeah, I'm never gonna go. That's stupid. Like secretly liking Guar, then in front of your friends, like, oh, Guar's so dumb. And it's like damn it. Now I wish like I kind of went and saw that.
Yeah.
It's something, you know, that is to behold in person. You know, it'll never be the same watching it. Like I just watched the Guar documentary and
Wasn't
it's
that
great.
something?
It was something. It was great. And I was like, you know what? The people who have seen Guar, who've got to experience it live, like that's not something you could watch over a live stream and really enjoy. You know, you got to be there. You got to know you're not going to be able to wear those clothes again after the show and just be in the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now
that blood was ice cold. I got sprayed right in the face. They cut off Jacques Cousteau's head. He bent over, he got me right in the kisser, and it was freezing cold. And it was the winter time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might get pneumonia going to see Guar. But.
Yeah.
Now with
What a great documentary, though. I highly recommend that to anybody who's ever been in a band, even if you're not into Guar. Just, you know, the birth of creativity amongst a group of friends, how it can shatter, and how sometimes you can rebuild. You know, it'll never be the same, but the spirit's still there.
Yeah.
God, what a like wonderfully like thoughtful thing. That's a good. And episode's over, guys. Go home. That's it. That's a final thought. How do we follow that? Jeez.
Well, we still have to talk about Turbo Man. You ever see Turbo Man, John?
It sounds familiar, but it's not coming. It's not in the front of my brain. You know,
it's a movie we always talk about. So I got to do my. So I'm just gonna ask you, like randomly, if you've seen Mandy. Did you watch Mandy? What'd you think of Mandy?
Yep. I got to rewatch Mandy. I didn't enjoy it the first time.
Really interesting.
I was
That's all right.
So yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea at first, but I think on a rewatch I will enjoy
There's
it.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm literally just checking the boxes of the movies that we talk about that we didn't.
Turbo Kid, not Turbo Man. Turbo Kid.
Oh, Turbo Kid. Yeah.
Turbo Man's the action figure.
Oh yeah, no,
Jingle all the way.
No, I've seen Turbo Kid.
Sinbad and all. Yeah. Turbo Kid.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Yeah. Turbo Man. Yeah,
he's all over Walmart now. I see Turbo Man on the shelves.
I know. I got one in the closet. Like I was all excited, and now I see Turbo Man's all over the place. I'm like, man,
yeah,
like it's not cool anymore.
Oh, sorry. To go back to Predator. Walmart had awesome Predator figures for cheap.
Still do. They're still.
They were like the
$10.
like the Lanyard Corpse guys that we blow up in the backyard because they're like $1 for 3. They had like $10. You get like a really well done.
We have the
Predators.
We have like the 12-inch one that we got from there. The packaging was phenomenal. It's like that old school packaging on it, and it's got the laser cannon that lights up. The kids love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are they doing a remake of Big Trouble?
Yes. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I was.
Oh, you were serious about that. He's going to be. Yeah. Okay.
But to be fair, like I do like The Rock as well.
I love The Rock.
But it's been in like the talks for like over 10 years now.
Yeah.
So like
he's hot property, man. That guy, he's just laughing all the way to the bank. I told you I met him.
He is the bank. Guy. Oh, did you?
I don't know. I don't think I heard this story.
Oh man, this is so I in college I was interning for MTV when they still showed videos, right? Moved back home. I was substitute teaching and I get a call. They're like, we want you to we'll fly you down to Cancun for spring break. You're gonna film spring break. I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be ridiculous. Because this was still around like the Jerry Springer spring break specials and all that kind of nut stuff. So one of the assignments was we had to do a countdown, like a 20 video countdown with The Rock. Because I think it was like around the Mummy, like one of the Mummy movies or something like that.
Oh wow.
They put this poor guy in the Cancun sun, all day long with a bunch of college kids who are all getting trashed. And this guy was a perfect gentleman the whole time because the jocks were getting rowdy. They started to splash and he's hot and, and he was big at the time. He was crescendoing, as I say, at that point. And they were splashing. And he was not a prima donna. He'd splash right back. He's like, cut it out, you jabronis. Never broke character.
I love it.
He was a nice guy. And I always like sharing those stories because there are good, famous people out there. There's a lot of guys like The Rock. he's as you see him. It just in my short experience with him that day. Good guy.
Excellent.
Class act.
A very class act. See, Joey, it's 10 o'clock. We made it.
Poof! I disappear.
Yeah, just like that. Joey's got a real life.
Listen, I want this to be my real life. Look, everybody. It's even real now. All right?
Huh.
This is the real deal.
That's it.
Hey,
So,
one thing before we wrap up.
yeah.
You been to Lodi? What's Lodi like down there? You ever go by the old Danzig estate?
So Lodi is, it's one of the it's a legendary place because the Misfits came from.
Of course,
there.
yeah.
For those who don't know, that's where the Misfits are from. But it's not an impressive town. Otherwise, like they don't even have any good restaurants there. So when I was younger, we went by Danzig's mother's house, and
Yeah.
We did
his mother's who's deceased, like her phone number. You can find a phone number online.
Yeah. You go to the house and whatever, you can like knock on the door. It's like it's like the Jersey equivalent of the Goonies house, but
okay, yeah, sure.
But shitty, there's no good restaurants in Lodi. So there's no real reason to go to Lodi unless you live there. And I had a buddy who lived out there, and he's like, "I'll never leave." And then he moved to Garfield. So.
And then Danzig's still there chasing cars with the rake.
Does he live in Jersey?
No, I doubt it.
I think he lives in
LA.
California.
Yeah,
for a long time. Yeah, he went out west, and he bought that house. And if anyone remembers, like the Danzig video where he's in the library, he's like, "Look at all these stories about werewolves, all documented, all true."
Yeah,
I believe in God.
yeah.
I believe in the devil too.
It's the most cringiest thing you've ever seen in your life. And he made movie.
Yeah, he made that movie. Veronica.
I'm not even going to touch it. I can't even press play on it. I don't even.
We made a Western movie too.
Yeah, the high it's like got a long name, and that's coming from the man with the long name of a book. But it's it's something. I'm sure. I'm not even gonna talk about it because we gotta let Joey go. He's gonna turn into a pumpkin.
Well, John, we got to hang out again, buddy.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah, but before we go, we definitely got to plug. Everybody can plug their wares. John, if you want to go, I know Punishment. If you got the links, he's my link guy in the chat.
Well, if you go to 321actiongames.com, there's links to everything you need. You get a free rulebook. You can get the Hotel Exorcist free to play solo pamphlet RPG. You could also find links to our drive-through RPG store, our itch. And if you want a physical copy of the book, order from Exalted Funeral, because when you buy a physical copy of the book from Exalted Funeral, you also get the PDF included in that. There are only, I think, maybe 4 hours left with Levi from Planet X Games. I co-wrote a 5e, well, it's for 5e Castles and Crusades or OSR, a module called Heresy of Rot. It is our love letter to Hammer Horror. There's an actual haunted house in the middle of it, and the first boss is the Headless Horseman, so you can't go wrong with it. It's on Indiegogo. It's a double creature feature from Necromancer Games. $45 gets you a physical copy of Heresy of Rot, the Fungus God from Outer Space, plus PDFs for both of them. PDFs I think will be here in time for Halloween. It is a killer Halloween adventure. If you love hearing about RPGs, every Monday, the Vintage RPG podcast, I'm the co-host. Stu actually knows what he's talking about. Check us out, vintagerpg.com.
Vintage RPG is quality.
Thanks.
That is quality.
Good stuff. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Joe, you got anything you want to...
you can check out old man Joey Royale. Best way to find me is, I guess Brian got me to get back on the Facebook, but I got a link tree in my Instagram. That's my favorite social media to use right now. So get_haunted_industries. On there, there's a link to my Etsy shop where you can find Ninja City, which is the DCC Ninja reskin. I got Darkest Dice to pass out, your religious tracks of Dungeons and Dragons, melted down, old school. And then you got One of Us, which is Sideshow Salvation in a Dystopian Dust Bowl that I did with my buddy Tim DeShane. That's on the Goodman Games website. And last but not least, one of my newer projects, Weird Heroes of Public Access. So I just passed that along to Hambone. It's right over there. He's pointing to it. And kind of an outgrowth of that is the June manifestations. Hambone, I got to send that down to you.
Yeah, definitely, man.
that's a strange little thing. I don't talk about it a lot because I want people to kind of discover what it means to them themselves. So expect that going out in the post to you, Hambone, this weekend.
Appreciate it, man.
Pass it over to the master of ceremonies, Mr. Neon Lord.
I mean, I don't really have anything to push. I mean,
Just a giant, over 250-pound, extremely successful Kickstarter that closed in the
well,
dark.
unfortunately, I have to say the book is over 300 pages as of right now.
You're pulling a David Beatty.
I'm like dying. I keep adding to it. I gotta stop somewhere because I had to put the money down on the printer, so I gotta be locked in on page count because I'm going too crazy.
Listen, I know exactly how that is, man. I only intended to write 36 pages, and it's 112.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. You just you got to keep adding. But we are taking late backers on the. You go to Backer Kit. I'll have the links and all that stuff here soon. Other than that, I'll be on sometime with the State of the Wastelands to tell everybody what's going on with the book because there's some stuff I want to talk about. With that being said, thank you, John, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I'm glad
This was having me.
Yeah, so we will definitely have John back on because he's an official ravioli with the Randys now. Like you're in it to win it now. We got to get.
It, bro.
Everybody's gonna get. We all gotta get ravioli tattoos.
I'll do it.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I got the pizza. Now I gotta get the ravioli.
Absolutely.
It's time. That's a thing. It's gonna be a thing, Bri.
I got an Italian girlfriend. She makes sauce.
There you go.
Ravioli.
There you go.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again. Thanks for chat, for being lively. I appreciate everybody in there. Thank you, Punishment, putting out the links for John's stuff. With that being said, I'm going to bumper us out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Ciao, paisans.
Take care.
Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland will be right back. But first, a word from our sponsors.